Forget Bibi. Have you heard about this, Tuesday? Because before Iran apparently blows up the world, the United Nations wants to hit up the world with attacks, actually lots of taxes, to cover everything from fighting climate change to fighting poverty. There's talk of a billionaire's tax, a global carbon emissions tax, even plans for a World Bank transaction tax. I have no idea what that one's for. But the fact that the White House apparently isn't saying boo about it, any of it, makes some wonder whether we in the United States should be worried about it. Former UK Parliament member John Brown says we should. He's here with me now. This is weird, but can the UN actually do this?
Well, only if it's supported by the members. And of course, it's a most open, surprisingly open and aggressive bid for world government.
It is an open and a surprise bid for world government. If the UN's proposal and claim to have the authority to tax sovereign nations is so open, why don't we know about it? Why isn't this being talked about on channels like CNN? It may have something to do with the fact that our government is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, financial backer of the UN. Oh, and by the way, the money that they use to support the UN comes from we, the taxpayers, of course. Back to the video.
But of course, it fits exactly with Obama's strategy, which he openly declares is redistribution of wealth from the successful to the less successful within the United States. But this goes a whole long step further. This is redistribution of American and European wealth to the third world.
Wrong, wrong, wrong. This is not redistribution of wealth to the third world, but it is redistribution to what some call the powers to be, or international bankers with a new world order agenda, who I sometimes refer to as Satan's generals. In fact, I made and I'm selling a video about them that you can get by visiting my website at kingdomknowledge.info. I believe Satan's generals are taking money from us to control us. Here's another example. When countries get into serious financial debt and borrow money from international banks, they almost always have to give up some of their key power and authority over their country. You see, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. This is a quote from a very famous book called the Holy Bible. Read Proverbs 22:7. As a matter of fact, much if not all that is taking place in our world today has been foretold in this great book. Yet, so many people still refuse to read it or believe it. Believe it or not, this willful ignorance is documented in the Bible. Let's read Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. If you reject God and forget the law, you cannot receive kingdom knowledge. Let's get back to the video.
I mean, it's nasty enough to pay taxes for a huge government you think interferes with your life, but to pay and throw it around the whole world, it's going to mean abject poverty.
But there is precedent for it, right? Even among the European Union. I mean, when you go in and you fly into any one of the European Union member countries, you pay a tax, I think, that goes to the EC. You pay a variety of things that go to that community and all the member countries, whether those member countries individually like it or not. So at least on that level, there is precedent. I'm just wondering, would the United Nations push this to the point where we're paying all of these extra global taxes on top of what are excessive
I think so, Neil. I mean, you rightly cite the European Union. The European Union was set up by stealth and deceit. And take, for example, my own country, the United Kingdom. We were taken in by the nose with being told complete lies about it involved. And now, of course, we see not only massive taxation going to the European Union, which is undemocratic, has an elected parliament, but the parliament has no power. So very like communist Russia. They had a parliament, but it had no power. So we have this unelected body running the European Union, massive taxation, massive regulations.
But in the European, now you guys, technically, you're not part of that currency. You are part of that union.
Part of the Eurozone, but part of the European Union.
So you can't say no? In other words,
Oh.
if our country, I always thought in our country, you have to go through Congress for any taxes. We haven't given that right up yet, have we?
No, but you see, Britain has 80% of British legislation comes from Brussels already. And so...
You guys already sold your soul.
Yes, and in times
Which is why
past-
you moved here.
Yes, for freedom.
He said the UN was set up by stealth and deceit. Those are key words and key characteristics of Satan, are they not? Revelation 12:9 says, "And the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to earth." Deceit and stealth also sounds like how the Federal Reserve was set up. You know, there are people in the U.S. who still don't know that the Federal Reserve is a private institution and not part of the federal government. He also said that in Europe there's a massive taxation being collected by the European Union, which is undemocratic. Of course, paying taxes to the UN would also be undemocratic. He said that Europe has an unelected body running the EU imposing massive taxes. Could this be the goal of the UN as well? The commentator said, in our country, you have to go to Congress to create taxes. Yeah, and according to our Constitution, you're supposed to go to Congress before you send our troops into war also. Mr. Brown said he left Europe to come to the U.S. for freedom. But now, freedom is being threatened right here in the U.S. And that's so true, because there is great unification and consolidation taking place in the world today. The first indication of this was the commencement of global trade, leading to the phrase global economy. I believe this unification that many refer to as the New World Order must take place for certain Bible prophecies to come to pass. Revelation 13:8 says, "And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose name are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world." I think it would be very difficult to get everyone in the world to worship one global figure or leader if the world remained fragmented by continents and countries as it is today. Here's a scripture of reassurance for my fellow Christian brothers and sisters. Revelation 13:10. "Since you have kept my command to endure patiently, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come upon the whole world to test those on the earth." Okay, my friends and subscribers, this video is getting a bit lengthy for YouTube. So, I provided a link in the description so that you can watch the video I'm referencing and read the article if you want to, if you choose. However, there are 4 additional scenes to this video that I've provided commentary to. If you would like to see the rest of my commentary and take advantage of an opportunity to support my ministry, Kingdom Knowledge, I've also put a link in the description that will direct you to PayPal so that you can purchase this video in DVD for $3.99, which will allow you to watch the video on your TV or computer and allow you to place this video in the hands of someone you care about. Okay? All right. Thanks for watching. Peace and love.